UPS, heat death. On June 25, 2022, Esteban Chavez Jr. headed out on his UPS delivery route in Pasadena, California. Temperatures climbed into the upper 90s Fahrenheit. Chavez was only 24 years old and had celebrated his birthday the day before. Chavez had worked at UPS for 4 years and loved the job. It was his second day back after recovering from a shoulder injury. UPS trucks are not equipped with air conditioning, and temperatures inside the cargo holds can reach 120 to 150 degrees during summer months. As Chavez made deliveries that early afternoon in the sweltering heat, his body began to shut down. After making his final delivery, he collapsed inside his truck. At least 20 minutes passed before anyone noticed him unconscious and called for help. Emergency services responded but were unable to save him. Esteban Chavez Jr. was pronounced dead. His father told reporters that everyone knows those trucks are a hotbox. His death became a rallying point for the Teamsters Union, which launched a campaign demanding UPS install air conditioning in all delivery vehicles. A new 5-year contract was ratified in August 2023 that required AC units in all new UPS delivery vehicles purchased after January 1, 2024. Amazon tornado death. On December 10, 2021, a massive tornado outbreak swept across 6 states. Tornado warnings for southwestern Illinois had been issued more than 24 hours before the storm struck. Amazon's Edwardsville facility, a 1.1 million square foot delivery depot, was operating during peak holiday season. Austin McEwen, 26, was an Amazon delivery driver working as an independent contractor. That evening, he was at the warehouse as night workers began their shifts. As the EF3 tornado bore down, Amazon managers used bullhorns to direct workers to take shelter. The facility had a designated shelter area on the north side. Of 46 people inside, 39 made it to the north side. But McEwen and 6 others were on the south side, where there was no shelter location. They were directed to a bathroom. The tornado struck at approximately 8:27 p.m. The massive storm ripped the roof off, causing walls to collapse inward. The south side, where McEwen was sheltering, was devastated. Between 50 and 100 people were trapped in the wreckage. Emergency teams worked through the night. McEwen was found dead. All 6 fatalities occurred on the south side. On January 17, 2022, McEwen's parents filed the first wrongful death lawsuit against Amazon, alleging the company knew a tornado was coming, but kept workers on the job during peak delivery season rather than evacuating. DoorDash hit and run. On the morning of October 22, 2025, Ibrahim Diakite was making food deliveries in Westerville, Ohio. Diakite, 31, had moved from West Africa to Columbus to pursue a better life. He worked as a DoorDash driver and his family said he really liked his job. While in a Kroger parking lot on Schrock Road, a minor collision occurred between Diakite and another vehicle driven by Danielle Henry, 34. Henry, who was driving a stolen car and had been shoplifting, fled the scene. Diakite pursued her onto Schrock Road. Diakite stopped his car in front of Henry's vehicle at the intersection of Schrock and Cooper Roads and got out, standing in front of her SUV to prevent her from leaving. According to court documents, Henry accelerated to approximately 45 miles per hour with Diakite on the hood. He was eventually pulled under the vehicle and dragged between 300 and 600 feet before being run over. Henry then made a U-turn and ran over him again. She fled the scene. Diakite died shortly later at the hospital. Henry was arrested days later. She had a criminal history spanning nearly 15 years. She was charged with aggravated vehicular homicide, involuntary manslaughter, hit skip, and failure to stop. His aunt said he came to America to fulfill his dreams, get married, and have children. Caviar bike courier. On the evening of Saturday, May 12, 2018, heavy rain was pouring down on Philadelphia. Pablo Avendaño, 34, was a bicycle courier who worked for Sparrow Cycling Couriers, a worker-owned cooperative. But the pay was not enough to cover bills, so Avendaño supplemented his income by delivering for Caviar, a food ordering app. For gig economy couriers, bad weather meant more demand and higher pay. Caviar's algorithm offered peak incentives when dangerous conditions reduced available riders. The only time you could make decent money delivering for Caviar was when it was raining or otherwise dangerous. Avendaño decided to pick up extra shifts that evening. While cycling down Spring Garden Street in the bike lane, following traffic laws and wearing a helmet, he was struck from behind by a Mitsubishi SUV during the downpour. The impact was fatal. Avendaño was killed at the intersection of 10th Street and Spring Garden Street. Paramedics responded, but he was pronounced dead. A massive memorial ride was organized. Hundreds of cyclists rode through the streets wearing black and red. A banner was hung from an abandoned train trestle that read, "The gig economy killed Pablo. Rest in power." Avendaño's death sparked a national conversation about gig economy worker protections. Caviar classified couriers as independent contractors, meaning the company bore no responsibility for work-related deaths. Pizza Lucé crash. On August 5, 2023, just before 1 o'clock in the morning, Aaron Zach was out on a delivery run. Zach, 42, was a beloved fixture at the Uptown Pizza Lucé location in Minneapolis, where he had worked as a delivery driver for more than 15 years. Zach was driving his Mazda through the intersection of West 50th Street and Lyndale Avenue South. At the same time, 24-year-old Julio Alvarado was driving his Ford F-150. Witnesses estimated he was going 50 to 60 miles per hour. A breath test revealed his blood alcohol content was .268, more than 3 times the legal limit. He told police he had at least a Long Island iced tea and a little bit to drink. Alvarado's truck slammed into Zach's vehicle. The impact was devastating. Zach's Mazda looked as if it was caved in from a forceful impact. Minneapolis police responded to the scene. Witnesses identified Alvarado as the driver and reported he appeared intoxicated. He failed 3 field sobriety tests. Aaron Zach was killed in the crash. Alvarado was charged with 2 counts of criminal vehicular homicide. He pleaded guilty in January 2024. At sentencing, Zach's mother submitted a victim impact statement, saying there was no reason people should be drinking and driving. Judge William Koch sentenced Alvarado to 48 months in prison. Real quick, if you find this informative, I cover stories like these regularly. Consider subscribing if you'd like to see more. Now back to the video. Amazon, Wisconsin crash. On December 28, 2023, Chandra Zimmer was out on her delivery route. Zimmer, 40, had started working as an Amazon delivery driver about 2 months earlier. She drove for Accelerated Delivery, a third-party partner of Amazon's distribution center in Greenville, Wisconsin. Despite the physical toll, she loved the job. At approximately 5 o'clock in the evening, Zimmer was making a delivery near State Highway 114 and Pigeon Road in the village of Harrison. She was following Amazon's company policy, which discourages drivers from pulling into driveways, meaning she had to cross the busy highway on foot to deliver packages. A westbound pickup truck driven by Trevor Gelhar, 40, of Sherwood, struck Zimmer as she was in the roadway. Poor visibility due to rain was believed to be a contributing factor. Zimmer was pronounced dead at the scene. She was still holding a package when the truck struck her. Her parents questioned why she had to cross a busy highway to make deliveries. Lynette urged motorists that when you see an Amazon vehicle pulled over with its lights flashing, please slow down. A 2021 report found that 1 out of 5 Amazon drivers sustained injuries while working. NYC moped crash. On December 13, 2021, at approximately 5:10 in the evening, Salvador Navarrete Flores was riding his moped on 1st Avenue near 76th Street on the Upper East Side. Navarrete Flores, 31, known by his nickname Chavita, was a member of Los Deliveristas Unidos, a collective that advocates for delivery workers' rights. The stretch of 1st Avenue was well known as a location where delivery trucks routinely parked illegally to unload goods. A 2019 Freightliner box truck was parked in the roadway, with its containers sitting right up against the bike lane in a cross-hatched, no parking area at a fire hydrant. A witness said Fresh Direct was daily illegally parked at that spot. The illegal double parking was visible on Google Street View. Navarrete Flores struck the parked truck. The impact was fatal. He was transported to New York Presbyterian Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. The truck driver was interviewed, but was not issued any summonses. Navarrete Flores was the 13th delivery worker to die in New York City in 2021, at least 10 in crashes. Transportation Alternatives Executive Director Danny Harris said the city needed to fast-track dedicated loading zones. The very next morning, a Fresh Direct truck was again parked illegally in the same spot. Second UPS heat death. Christopher Begley, 57, had been a UPS delivery driver for 28 years. His wife, Nisa Lambeth, described how he loved his job so much that he showed up to their very first date in his UPS uniform. But the summer heat had long taken its toll. He would come home and collapse in the chair every day in the summertime. In August 2023, North Texas was experiencing extreme heat exceeding 100 degrees. UPS trucks are not air-conditioned, with temperatures inside reaching 120-plus degrees. On August 23rd, the day after the Teamsters announced a new contract with heat safety provisions, Begley told managers he was feeling sick while on his route. According to UPS, Begley denied medical assistance multiple times. His wife tells a different story. She was out of town caring for her dying father when her husband was dropped off at home alone after collapsing. He was disoriented and did not know when he had gotten home or how long he had been passed out. Days later, Begley collapsed again and was hospitalized. He died shortly afterward. OSHA opened an investigation and hit UPS with a $66,000 fine after finding the company failed to ensure Begley had access to medical care. Begley's death came just 1 week after workers approved the new contract with heat safety provisions. Brooklyn deliverista death. On the morning of August 4th, 2022, around 9:30, Danny Vidal was heading north on his motorcycle along Morgan Avenue in East Williamsburg, starting his workday. Vidal, 30, was a food delivery worker and member of Los Deliveristas Unidos. He lived in Bedford-Stuyvesant, Brooklyn. According to police, as Vidal rode along Morgan Avenue, a man driving a flatbed truck made a left turn off Meadow Street and collided with Vidal's motorcycle. The impact was devastating. Vidal's bike, delivery bag, and helmet were scattered across the street. Paramedics rushed him to Elmhurst Hospital Center, where he was pronounced dead. The 50-year-old truck driver remained at the scene. Police said they did not suspect any criminality. Vidal's father, Miguel Naula, attended the vigil and pointed to dark streaks on the bike lane pavement. You can still see his blood. He was only 30. Naula himself had been hit by a car at the same intersection years earlier, but he survived. The crash site on Morgan Avenue is notoriously dangerous. Since 2011, there have been 126 crashes on just 6 blocks of the avenue, injuring 158 people. The avenue has bike lanes, but they are completely unprotected, just painted markings. Councilmember Sandy Nurse called it a failure of city government to protect these lives. If this was informative, consider subscribing so you don't miss future content. Thanks for watching.